What it is, what it do with the whoop whoop, good people. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are tuning into this video. I hope that wherever you are in this world, that you are indeed in good spirits. I hope that you know whatever it is you're going through is not your end-all be-all, and that there is definitely a bright light at the end of your tunnel. And everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. The affirmation for today: I am resilient and I will get through this. Because that's it. Today, what I'm going to talk about is a touchy subject. So excuse me if I break down, do the ugly crying and all that, whoop-ta, wop-ta, whoop-ta, whoop, 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 what it is, what it do. But I'm going to get into miscarriages and ectopic pregnancies. So let's get into it. Okay, so I had to disappear for a while because I had to make sure that mentally I was okay after experiencing what I've experienced. The month of March met me with more downs than ups, is what I'll say. I thought I just heard my mother's voice say Mika. I probably did. So go ahead, play it. Do your thing. So in March, I found out I was pregnant. I was excited. I sat on it for a while because I wanted to make sure that I got through the first trimester, and then I'd share the news just to make sure everything was okay. So about a week or so ago, sorry, it felt like something was in my eye. I was getting ready for work. It was a Thursday, and I went, washed up, do my little morning routine, and I noticed I was bleeding. So I'm not gonna lie, because I know some spotting is normal. I was just gonna go ahead and go to work. But as soon as I got to work, I felt weird, is what I'll say. And I went to a co-worker and I said, look, this was like 6 in the morning, 5 something in the morning. I said, I believe I'm having a miscarriage, and I need to go to the hospital. And yes, I was informed I was indeed having a miscarriage. Okay. This is my first time experiencing this. What's the next steps? And I was told, just go home. You can take the next couple of days off of work because you might experience some heavy bleeding, cramping. But I want you to come back in 48 hours. This was on Thursday, so I was set to go back to the emergency room on Saturday to repeat my blood work because, a lot of things were high, but not not scary high, you know, to the point where they had to admit me. But certain levels was way too high, which let them further know, like, yes, you are indeed miscarrying. And then when they did the ultrasound, it was there was no evidence of a baby. But with my blood work and the urine test, it indeed showed I was pregnant. But on the ultrasound, there was no evidence of a baby. So I go back in Saturday morning. I repeat the blood work and everything. I wasn't even bleeding like that. Some slight cramping, but I wasn't bleeding like that. And it turned out that I should have brought some tissue. It turned out that I was having an ectopic pregnancy. For those who don't know, an ectopic pregnancy is when the fetus is growing in a place where it's not supposed to grow. In my case, they thought that the fetus was attached to my ovaries and not the sac that it was supposed to be in. But after running some more tests, the fetus was growing inside my right fallopian tube. And with ectopic pregnancies, if you don't catch it fast enough, you know, because the baby is is in the sac for a reason, because as the baby grows, the sac expands. In my case, or with an ectopic pregnancy period, as the baby grows, wherever the baby is attached to that's not the sac, it can cause internal damage, internal bleeding. I was at high risk for internal bleeding. When I went in that Saturday is when I found out, now, okay, you're at high risk. We're going to have to do emergency surgery on you. Of course, I cried, boo-hoo. First of all, I'm miscarrying. I know a lot of people who've experienced this. And whether at the time I experienced it or not, I was able to sympathize with them. But now, having gone through it myself, it just hit different, you know? So, bam. Informed me that the fetus is in my right fallopian tube, but let's do more tests to make sure it's not attached to the ovaries, because we may have to remove your ovary, the right ovary as well. Everything came back. It was only the right fallopian tube that had to be removed. So that Saturday, I was getting prepared for surgery to have my right fallopian tube removed. And I ended up staying overnight in a hospital just so, you know, they can monitor a few things. How they did the surgery is they made 3 incisions, 2 in my side, so bam, bam, and then they went through the belly button. It's healed nicely now. At first, for maybe like a good 10 minutes or so, I definitely was questioning what I did wrong. You know, maybe I was eating the wrong stuff, you know. Like, I know it was early on, but still, like, what was I stressed about something? What happened? And I didn't tell anybody that I was beating myself up silently. But the nurse walked in and she said to me, I'm sorry that you're going through this, but I really just want to let you know it's nothing you did. And I don't want you to be in here beating yourself up thinking it's something that you did. It's nothing that you did, Tamika. These things just happen. Unfortunately, I won't be the last woman that this happens to. However, just to get the reassurance, like, no, it's not you. Because before this happened to me, yes, I knew what a miscarriage is. I knew what an ectopic pregnancy was. Again, it hit different when it actually happens to you. And this is an uncomfortable conversation for me to have, I have to be honest. But where else to have it than my own platform on Uncomfortable Conversations podcast, right? Also, too, it's because I experienced this and had my right fallopian tube removed. It puts me at high risk of having another ectopic pregnancy. However, I can still get pregnant, I still have both ovaries, and I can still carry a child with just one fallopian tube. Of course, I'm going to wait on that, you know what I mean? Make sure my body is healed. I took 2 weeks off of work. This is my last week, actually, just to make sure that I'm okay. I have to make sure I'm okay. I have to sit with this. And, I was told by someone to calm down when I was reacting from hearing this news. I'm sorry, who? Uncomfortable Conversations herself, Miss Tamika Renee Bly herself, who encourages other people to feel what it is they need to feel, but don't stay there. Don't fucking tell me to calm down. This is a traumatic experience. This is an experience that could send a woman into depression if they don't allow themselves to feel what they need to feel and heal from it. You know what I mean? I had to shut that motherfucker out. Like, don't tell me to calm down. Let me feel what I need to feel. I'm mad right now. I was mad, angry, upset. And then, because of my spirituality and my relationship with God, once I was done feeling what I need to feel, I had to thank God. I thank you, not thank God in spirit for what happened, but because I know, and of course I find the positive in any negative that I'm faced with, but because I know all things happen for a reason. So after I got out of my bag of feelings and I got into my prayer bag, I had to look at the situation at hand. And yes, it's unfortunate that I lost the baby this way, most importantly. But everything happens for a reason. The man that I was pregnant by needs, we're not aligned. So, yes, I'm sad. Yes, it's unfortunate that this happened. But God never fails me. And he showed me that time and time again. Everything happens for a reason. Where I'm at in my life, being within alignment with whether it's work, career, finance, love, it's important to me because I did not do all this healing work to put myself back into situations that I know don't serve me or that are not aligned with me. And again, I had to see the positive in the negative, which wasn't hard for me to do. What I will say is, during this time, I've done some self-reflection, and I've been realized this, but I don't know why it's like the light bulb got more brighter this time around. Yes, I know I'm not for everybody. I don't want to be for everybody anyways. Okay? After seeing how my light further irritates the men that I've come into contact with, and I had to pray about this. A part of me, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out in the love department, a part of me is ready to just give up on coming into contact with someone who will be within alignment with me, right? Give up on finding, not that I'm out here looking, but give up on having the person that's for me. A part of me, I have to be honest, y'all, is a little scared. I'm a little bit afraid of love now. A message just popped up. Have faith in yourself and your courage and your strength. Thank you for that clarification. That confirmation. Like I said, a part of me is afraid of love, but I don't want to do a disservice to myself or to the person that is for me, that I am to me, because I know what I come with, and I don't want the treatment that I've been dealt by certain men to taint my view on love. Nah. My energy is not just out here easy like a Sunday morning. A lot of men are not used to, and I believe I touched on this somewhere in another episode. A lot of men are not used to being loved up on, to actually being genuinely cared for. Like, better yet, I'm concerned about your well-being. So how are you doing today mentally? Like, a lot of men are not used to that shit. And I get it, because I didn't even want this video to be this long. So yeah, I had to self-reflect and look back on some things and how men have showed up in my life. And again, this is not a matter of, oh my gosh, I'm cutting men off, I need to get back to me. No, I'm not going to do a disservice to myself. So my heart is still very much open, but I just had to be honest. I don't know who else can relate. Like, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it afraid. You know what I mean? So anybody who may have experience being mishandled, and this go for men too. Cause hold on, some of these bitches be trifling, and they know how to play the part well until you get in deep, and now you become a man who is misused, mishandled, mistreated by a woman. It can go either way, is all I'm trying to say. So whether you're a man or a woman, and you may be feeling how I'm feeling at the moment, as far as being afraid to let someone in, being afraid to possibly love again, or you know what I mean, just entertaining the thought. Do that shit. Don't do a disservice to yourself and put yourself on a shelf and become so in tune and focused on you that you literally just shut everything else out. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. Like, I'm literally begging you, don't do that. Because also too, I'm not pointing fingers at the men who mishandled me or was unable to see me. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming them at all. Okay? I also need to take accountability, because it wasn't a waste of time. It was lessons learned. It was some things in these situations that I had to learn. Most importantly, don't change my character based off the actions of someone else, right? And well, I don't want to say that. I was about to say, like, don't be so nice. That's not really it. It's, I don't know how to not be genuine. I don't know how to not see the hurt and pain in people and pour into them. I don't know how to not show somebody that I care. I don't know how to not show somebody that what you're seeing is not a facade. Like, I don't know how to not be consistent when it comes to who I am. I don't know how to be anything other than me. So when I show up, it seems foreign to them. You know, if I was an object, I'd be a foreign object. And they just be looking like, the fuck? Who? God damn it, how do you open it? You know what I mean? Woo! I'm just out here crying. Not that I don't want to cry in front of nobody. I just don't want nobody to come up to me and ask me if I'm okay. Because I am okay. I'm just feeling what I need to feel. So, yeah, if you're in that situation or faced with that situation, moral of the story is just don't change you. Don't change you. Men, don't change you because of her, and her. Women, don't change you because him, and him. Now, self-reflection, yes. Learn the lesson, yes. Because it's not a loss. You ain't lose shit. You still have you, sir, ma'am. You still have you. You didn't lose shit. Figure out if it was a lesson in that situation that you needed to learn, and go from there. If it could be something small. Anyway, don't give up on yourself. You know, it's okay to be afraid to let someone in. It's okay. Don't give up on you. keep going. Whatever it is, whether it's career, big move, love, do it afraid. Do it afraid. And know that everything happens for your betterment. Okay? And I thank y'all for taking the time out to listen to me, cry with me if you did. I appreciate the ones that tune in. And you guys have a good rest of your day. What it do with the whoop whoop. Tamika Renee Bly, Audi 5000. Look at the view. Look at it. All right now.